Happy Friday Night Live. If the hair is down, it means I'm running late. Well, no, I mean, I run late because the hair is down because I have difficulty with apportioning my time. ADD struggles for real. Tonight, we have so much to talk about. If you are part of the replay crew, we are going to have timestamps down below by each topic we talk about. Tonight, we are covering the Girardis, Erika Jayne, Tom Girardi. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of how we even got here anyway and where we're even at, what's going on, and then the main documents that have come out over the last week, which is an objection to a proposed settlement from Erika Jayne, another objection by Tom Girardi's ex-wife, financial documents, the state bar speaking up in the conservatorship case. There is so much to talk about in this case. It's absolutely wild. We're going to do all of that. So first, we're going to just get into it. We're going to chat a little bit. Look, I'm new to living in the South or the Midwest or whatever we consider Tennessee. I'm still unclear on all of it because, kind of Southern, but also kind of tornado-y. So that was my day yesterday. That was an adventure for the whole family. So we're going to talk about that real quick and then get into it. Thank you all for the compliments on the hair. And before we get any further, we are missing one of our mods tonight, Michael, but it is his birthday. So when he watches this on the replay, if y'all will just leave a happy birthday message for Michael so he can see it in the chat, that would be super appreciated because then it will surprise him when he watches this on the replay. All right, we're getting into it. We have a lot of documents to go over and then lots of questions because I saw all the questions y'all submitted on Instagram. And as I'm breaking down the documents I was talking about on the gram, I kept your questions in mind. So hopefully I'll get to a lot of them. And then if I don't, we'll do Q&A at the end. I love seeing the birthday messages. Law nerds, y'all the best. Let's just get into it. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. I love the intro so much. I love being here with y'all on Friday night. Tonight, I have a ginger booch. It's going to be a little spicy. I'm here for the spicy booch. I'm ready. Danny Matthews, thank you so much. That is very, very kind. I love seeing all the messages. Let me know, you guys, what you're drinking, wherever this finds you. And if you want to share where it finds you, that's fine too. I got my Law Nerd shirt on. I'm feeling it. I'm ready to roll. It's been a busy day. Oh, got the nails done. We got changed over, getting ready for Easter. It feels like spring. There's, green grass, the time change. It's been a weird week. Tornadoes. It's been a weird week. I hope wherever you are, this finds you safe and sound. I know it was wild down in Alabama. It was wild. We had sirens going off quite a lot last night. Definitely shared with the kids what that sound was. The first time they went off last night, it was like, are those ambulance? Is that we're opening the windows. We're like, what is that? So by the fourth time last night that sirens were going off, we're like, got it. That's what that sound is. I think we've heard them maybe 3 times in the entire time we've been here. So yesterday they're like, we're going to teach all of you that are new what this sounds like. There are some fabulous Twitter accounts that we follow for the most up-to-date news. And that was fantastic. We have weather radios. We've got weather apps, all the things. I don't even know what app is this. It was great. So I love that there's an app, but then because I have multiple apps, because I'm a nerd, once the alerts go out, everything goes off. And I was like, well, I'd rather know more than less. So I've got Stormwatch Plus and the NOAA weather, NOAA weather. Love. So hopefully everybody's safe. So good to see everybody. Good to see you, Jamila. It was wild here in Central Alabama. Yeah, I saw all the damage down in Alabama. I get it. Tornadoes in Ireland never seem scary. It's It's a different thing. So, I mean, I've been through some pretty major earthquakes in California and the time that I lived there, because I lived there, most of my 42 years, like the large portion of them. And you don't know when they're coming. And that is one of the things, like getting shaken out of your bed is a very specific kind of a thing. They don't often come with sound. It is until things are shaking. So it's different having warnings and alerts and feeling the storm coming through and not knowing if it's going to just keep moving or get worse. It's different. It's different kind of stress. So it's just a different kind of stress. A couple trees are down in our back, but not close to where the house is, because the wind just blows them over. And it's so weird. Tracy, thank you. Yes, will do. Or Teresa, I don't even know why I said Tracy. In my brain, it just came out that way. I apologize. Selena, good to see you. Drinking some Perro del Mar Imperial IPA. Sounds delicious. So the ground gets super wet, and then the high winds, and then the trees just like fall over, but then the root systems like pull up the ground, like peeking up a carpet or something, or pulling up a rug. It's very weird, but all the ground is just like pulled up. It's very strange. It's a different phenomenon. So, we're getting used to spring here. The weather's beautiful, but not stable by any means. It's so good to see you too. Round number 21 of pneumonia since July. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad that this is the best thing of the day. Yay. There's a few other updates that I should get to. I'm going to let you guys know. We're going to do a little housekeeping, and then we're going to get into topics. In San Francisco, we got the disaster alarm going off every Thursday at noon. Always good for practice. That is good for practice. Does the disaster alarm include like fires and tsunamis and stuff in San Francisco? I'm curious. So, because LA, nothing like that. So, we call that tree throw because the tree has been thrown over. I love that. That's exactly what it is. The tree root thing is crazy. I know what you mean. It's so different. It's not something I'd ever seen before. So, yes. Housekeeping stuff. There are new filings in the Britney Spears conservatorship case. For all of you that are following that, when the conservatorship responds, if they respond, I will cover it. The hearing for that's at the end of April. So I will pull it up. Britney is asking to remove her dad as conservator of the person and make the temporary conservator of the person the permanent conservator of the person. So when they respond, I'll just go over those two together. All of the Taylor Swift lawsuits have settled. I need to pull up the documents, but I don't think the terms of the settlement are in the document. It's just all the lawsuits have been dismissed and dropped. I'm sure it was a behind the scenes like, okay, well, you sued us. We sued you. What you gonna do now? And I think they probably had a mutual walk away, because the news reporting is no money exchanged hands, which generally means we're gonna release claims against you. We're gonna release these claims against you. We're gonna all disarm and walk away. Amelia says, hope everyone's well. I got amazing news recently that I've been given a training contract. The last step needed to become a solicitor. That's so exciting, Amelia. Congratulations to you. Huge, huge congratulations to you. So that's what's going on in the Taylor Swift case. I might do a reel or a TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I still don't know if I'm actually on, I'm on TikTok, but I still don't know if I'm going to do the TikToks. We're having fun with it. We're trying the TikToks. We're trying. And so I might do some YouTube shorts to kind of catch up on the things I've been talking about, including the Taylor Swift ones. So you will see some YouTube shorts coming from me when I sit down and get them done. Fantastic, Taz, having a Coca-Cola 5 years sober from alcohol since February. Congratulations. Yeah, this is just Booch this evening, because we have a lot to talk about and a lot of documents and numbers and math. And I was like, we're not drinking right now. That's not what's happening. But I love Booch. It's delicious. And the ginger's a little spicy. It makes me feel a little spicy. So those are some of the case updates. There's a lot of... Y'all, the lawsuits are not going to stop. There's a lot of other lawsuits going on. Yes, I did see that Johnny Depp's appeal was denied. I think I talked about it in my Instagram live yesterday, but the appeal system in the UK is different. It asks the judge who found the facts to refine the facts and be like, oh yeah, I was wrong about the facts. They did let him submit new evidence. They didn't find that was enough. I think the case in the US will go differently. We'll see. The UK has a whole different system. And there is a content creator Lost Beyond Pluto here on YouTube. She's an attorney from Australia. She does great breakdowns. She has covered that case so thoroughly. I have really enjoyed her coverage. I will link her channel here in the description too. She's done great coverage of the Johnny Depp case, and their legal system's a little more closely tied, from my understanding, from her to the UK system. She has a really good understanding and breaks it down really well. So always happy to refer out, because there are so many lawyers who cover different aspects of news and pop culture that it's just. So lots and lots of pop culture legal happenings. But tonight we are just going over Girardi stuff, and I'm very excited. There's a lot of Girardi stuff. So I'm going to do a case breakdown, and chat, I'm going to let y'all choose. Do you want to go over the financial documents filed in the bankruptcy case first, or do you want to go over Erika Jayne's filing in the bankruptcy case first? Let me know which of those you would like to see first. I'm going to do a case little like what WTF is even happening, and then I'm going to peek at the chat and see who wins. If we're going to do the financial stuff first, or if we're going to do the Erika Jayne filing first. It's the first time. It's the first time she's appeared in court. It's interesting. I'm interested. Okay. It's time for a breakdown. Time for a breakdown. Never gonna get it, 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 gonna get it. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, that's what happens in my head when I say it's time for a breakdown. That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens. Okay. The road so far in the Tom Girardi, Erika Jayne cases, and I say cases because there are so many of them. Currently, with regard to Tom Girardi, he has multiple lawsuits pending against him, 2 bankruptcies, a potential criminal investigation, because a judge said that they were referring the case out for criminal investigation, but we don't have any formal documentation of that because we wouldn't yet if they're just doing an investigation. The divorce proceedings with Erika Jayne, and a conservatorship proceeding. So when I say pending lawsuits, these are mostly either creditors or individuals suing him and his law firm for various breaches of contract, legal malpractice, and things like that. What is happening, because there is this bankruptcy, is some of those cases are going to get swooped into the bankruptcy. All the creditor cases, the people he owes money to, those are all going to get swooped into the bankruptcy court and dealt with there. The client cases as well should get swooped into the bankruptcy court and dealt with there. The law firm has existing clients, and currently the bankruptcy court is signing agreements with other law firms to have other law firms handle those cases. The state bar has essentially suspended Tom Girardi's license due to the conservatorship proceedings. So there is a lot that's happening. How this all happened? How this all happened. Now, I have speculation as to what was going on behind the scenes. The LA Times did a great expose article and talked about the fact that there have been over 100 lawsuits against Girardi and his firm. It's a lot of stuff. And the state bar has finally shown up in the conservatorship proceeding and been like, hey, we'd like a piece of him. We'd like to discipline him, but we can't discipline him if he's in this conservatorship. So can we please reevaluate a permanent conservatorship? So there's that. But there is a very large class action lawsuit going on in Illinois with regard to the Lion Air disaster. This was one of the 2 Boeing crashes that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And the Lion Air case was settling as to the plaintiffs Girardi Keese was working with, and Boeing. There's another law firm, local counsel. Now, we know this from the Toddy Westbrook case, right? You've got in the Toddy case that has been dismissed. I suspect will be refiled, but we'll see. In that case, you had, Saltsy was in LA. That seemed to be Toddy Westbrook's kind of ride or die attorney. And then you had local counsel up in Washington. Same thing here. You've got, Tom Girardi being the OG plaintiff's attorney, and then you've got Edelson PC being Illinois local counsel. Well, Edelson PC sued Tom Girardi and Girardi Cases and Erika Jayne and EJ Creative and others, saying, yo, this case settled, but nobody's gotten paid. So like the clients need their money. Also, we need our money, but really the focus is on the clients need their money. And that case was the one that made some of the more saucy claims. There was sass in that filing. I covered it months ago, but there was sass in that filing. That's the filing that was like, is this divorce a sham? We don't know. That's the filing that alleged that another lawsuit said. It's like this lawsuit says that another lawsuit says that EJ Creative, Erika Jayne's company, might have gotten a $20 million loan from the law firm. That complaint. Saucy. Lots of information. So that's the one that got picked up by the news media. Shortly after that case, Erika Jayne filed for divorce, and then the lawsuits started tumbling. So the divorce filing was November 30th, 2020. December 2nd, Edelson PC filed that breach of contract. So it was like, we know it's coming. And Edelson PC said that they thought the divorce was a sham proceeding to try to hide assets. Well, it's all swooped up into the bankruptcy now, so that's not going to happen. Then another law firm on December 9th filed suit against Girardi and Girardi Cases being the name of the law firm. Wells Fargo filed suit on December 9th, and then the former business partner filed suit on December 14th. Then more. What became apparent in December is that with all the outstanding judgments, and at the time there was an outstanding judgment that had been agreed to, $6 million judgment, $11 million judgment, $5.8 million judgment, $7.5 million judgment. There were these outstanding judgments and then other outstanding lawsuits. It became clear to the creditors that this was going to be a fight for assets. Who gets the money? What money is there? I think that was aggravated by the fact that in the air disaster case, the judge held Tom Girardi in contempt of court, froze his assets, and was like, pay the people. Period. Pay the people. The court said, like, it's $2 million. Pay the people. Well, the attorney for Tom Girardi said, yeah, we don't have that money, so we can't exactly do that. Like, that money is not in the bank account, so we can't really pay the people. So I think that statement might have been one of the things, Emily, conspiracy speculation, monument to the gods, might have been one of the things where the creditors went, oh, the lawyer has said on the record that the law firm has no money. And if the law firm's not paying these clients who have a settlement, WTF is going to happen to me. And that's when the scrambling began. The Girardi Cases firm had thousands of clients at this point. I talked about this in depth in a recent episode of The Emily Show, where I broke down the bankruptcy court and what was going on with trying to get other lawyers and find other lawyers to place these cases with, including some very large cases in California. One of them has up to 8,000 plaintiffs, and that's being dealt with in the bankruptcy court with regard to the law firm, because there's two bankruptcies, law firm, personal. So what happened is all the creditors went, fuck, this isn't good. They're saying there's no assets in the law firm. The house has multiple liens on it, and it's the house is like collateral for loans and judgments, and there's only so much money to go around at the end of the day. This needs to go to bankruptcy. And the creditors got together and went to the bankruptcy court and went, there's a whole fuck ton of us, and we're really worried we're not going to get paid, so we need to be in bankruptcy court. There was no objection to that. Well, I shouldn't say that. The objection was late. And the court said, yeah, you're in bankruptcy now. So it was a forced, an involuntary bankruptcy that put Tom Girardi and his law firm into bankruptcy, which is where the story finds us, because those filings are coming daily in both cases. There are two different bankruptcy trustees, and there is the personal one and the business one. On the business one, the business trustee said, yo, it's going to be at least 6 months for us to get the financials together. On the personal side, the personal trustee has just gotten the financials together. So those are the two most active things, because once we're in bankruptcy, everything else stops. Like, stop right there. Thank you very much. I need somebody. Okay, stop. So everything else is stopped and it'll get swooped into the bankruptcy court. That includes the divorce. That includes the shit that's going on in Illinois. All of it freezes because of bankruptcy. So the bankruptcy freeze, or the bankruptcy stay, as it's often called, is what's happening. So the bankruptcy trustee is now the quarterback of everything. They are the kings of the castle. Well, king and queen, because one male and one female trustee, but they are the kings and queens of the castle, and they are the ones who are running this show now. And then you've got this conservatorship proceeding that was filed after the bankruptcy by Tom Girardi's brother saying, yeah, what we can't do is all of this. And so the temporary conservator has been appointed. There has been a medical examination. The doctor who is court appointed has said that he believes Tom Girardi has late onset dementia. I am not a medical professional. I am not going to speculate as to that at all. The state bar has objected to that and asked for another medical evaluation, and we'll go over that tonight. So that is a rundown of where we're at. Let's see what the chat has decided about what documents we're talking about first. So financials, Erika Jayne, financial, and Vogue. Yes, it was. Erika, financials. Y'all, this is close. Erika Jayne. Oh, in loving memory of your Pawnard. Losing Pawnards is very, very difficult. I feel you. Let me see. Money, Erika. Y'all, money, Erika. This is hard. You guys are so close on this. Money, Erika, y'all. Thank you for the super chat, Christopher. Y'all are too close on this. Y'all want both. I get it. All right. We're going to do Erika's stuff first. Erika. Okay, here we are. Erika is now winning. Erika takes the cake. All right. We'll see. Let's see how many fucks she gives. We're going to do Erika first. We're going to find out how many fucks she gives. And then we're going to get into the financial filings. Well, we'll probably do Erika and the ex-wife and then the financial filings. Here is the situation. I do not know what Erika knew. I am not going to speculate as to what Erika knew. I don't know. Y'all are going to have feelings about this. That is fine. I want to hear your feelings. What we're not going to do is disparage the people, call names, things like that. I think a lot of this is not a good look for Erika. I think we can talk about it not being a good look while also being mindful that we are just talking about a person. I do not know what she knew until I know more. I am withholding judgment on that. It's not a good look, some of this stuff. So we're going to talk about it. I have no investment in this particular discussion. I just like hearing you talk about things. Joanne, this shit's fascinating. So we're going to talk about it because it's fascinating. So let me pull up the Erika stuff with her objections. This is the state bar's objection. There's a lot of documents. So we've got an objection from Erika, and then we've got an objection from the ex-wife, Karen Girardi. Let's see. Where is my Erika objection? My docket numbers got all out of order, and I pulled stuff up first too. And the mods were with me beforehand when I was pulling stuff up, and I was like, I've got all my documents in order, and now it's like, nah. Okay, so Erika filed objections in the bankruptcy. This is the personal bankruptcy. A little bit of background as to why. The bankruptcy trustee has proposed a settlement agreement with the Ruy Gomez creditors. The Ruy Gomez creditors, and I might be pronouncing that wrong, and if I am, it is not with disrespect. It is with the fact that Emily cannot pronounce shit. It's Rigo Gomez, Ruigomez, Rui. I think it's Ruy Gomez. Either way. The Ruy Gomez family are plaintiffs that were represented by Tom Girardi, won a settlement with Tom Girardi, and based on their statements to the media, they said Tom said to them. That was a horrible sentence. They said Tom said to them. They told news sources, and there's a couple different articles regarding them. They said to news sources, hey, After we won this settlement with him, he said, look, I'm good at money. The injured individual was a young man. I believe he was a teen at the time when they won this, based on the reporting. He really looked up to Tom. Tom had been at his hospital, like all of it. So when they won, Tom was like, I can pay you monthly. They said he kind of likened it to like winners of the lottery when they don't quite know how to manage it. So it seemed from their statements that Tom was like, I've got you. Don't worry. I'm going to help you manage the money. I'll pay it out monthly. It's your money. It's here. I've got it handled for you. Eventually, they became uncomfortable with what was going on and asked for the rest of their money, accountings and things, and that wasn't happening. And it got to the point where they sued Tom Girardi, which they didn't want to do based on their statements to the media. And then they won a judgment that was a stipulated judgment, which means they all settled. They got together and agreed. And how do you not agree? It's like they won a judgment. You were their attorney. They are entitled to the money. And now they had to sue you to get the money. So they got an $11 million judgment against Tom Girardi that was agreed upon in June of 2019. That judgment was collateraled by the home in Pasadena, amongst other things. So in the personal bankruptcy, the home in Pasadena is one of the largest items of property that can be sold by the bankruptcy court to pay back the creditors. So the Ruy Gomez family has a claim against Tom Girardi personally because the house is part of the collateral for their judgment. So there was a lien on the property to secure their judgment. Sometimes the words are hard. Then they also have their claims against the business. So the bankruptcy trustee reached an agreement with the Ruy Gomez creditors, which is the family that were clients of Tom Girardi, and said, hey, when this house sells, and they are now under contract with like Compass Realty to sell the house in Pasadena, when this house sells, you will get 80% of the proceeds from the house after these other items. So the objections come to the Ruy Gomez settlement. Now, when this settlement got filed, people were like, oh, they're settling with the Ruy Gomez's. This is great. And of course it's great. We want that family to get their money. It's gross that they haven't got their money. I fucking hate it here so much because the amount of time that these families have had to fight the lawyer who was representing their interests for the money that they got to make them whole from shit that had happened to them is horrible. So, proposed stipulated settlement, meaning when the house sells, 80% of it will go to them after a few expenses. Well, that is a proposed stipulated settlement. The other creditors have the opportunity and ability to object. And that is what has happened here. Both Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi's ex-wife have objected to this settlement because it does not account for the money that's owed to them, that in bankruptcy is a superior claim. It means it comes first in line to the other shit. And so that is where we see this being filed. There are statutory rules in bankruptcy about the money that you get. So in bankruptcy, the goal is for the court to essentially deal with all the debts, sell off all the shit they can sell off, give you the little bit that you get by law, pay off everybody else, and move forward. That's the goal of bankruptcy. So in this, the stipulated proposed settlement, I keep saying stipulated, but it's the agreed upon proposed settlement is before the bankruptcy court. And if no one objects, then it just gets, okay, this is how this is going to go down. But because there's objections, there's going to have to be a hearing to figure out how we deal with this. And that is where we find the first objection with Erika Jayne. I feel like that was a lot of backstory, but it's important because that's why we need to know where we're at. So let's pull this up and get into it. I am not going to go into every single page of this, though it's not very long. This is the first time we've seen Erika Girardi in court. This is a limited opposition to the approved compromise, the approved agreement with the Ruigomez creditors. This was filed the 23rd. I mean, it was e-filed. We know that. Everything's e-filed. The date for this hearing is April 6th at 2 p.m. Erika Jayne, the current but estranged spouse of debtor Tom Vincent Girardi, submits this limited opposition to the motion. As described in the motion, the trustee seeks authority to pay the Ruigomez creditors certain proceeds from the liquidation of the estate's real and personal property, subject only to the prior payment of. So what this means is that these are the only things that get paid first. So when the estate sells, what is going to get sold is real property liens senior to the Ruigomez liens, taxes arising from the sale, ordinary costs of the sale, realtors, title, inspection, whatever, the administrative fees and cost of the bankruptcy estate. So the money's going to go to the admin for the bankruptcy for fees and costs, taxes arising from the sale, and then real property liens that come first if there are any. So that would be outstanding mortgage, things like that. And then the fees associated with the sale. Erika objects. It's interesting to me that in this motion, they refer to her as Erika. And I find it interesting that they are not calling her Miss Girardi. And I don't know, like this was thought out. I don't know if that was, hey, we want to make her seem more personable. If this was, hey, she is getting divorced and she's going to go back to being known by something else. And so they didn't refer to her as Miss Girardi in this because they're trying to distance her from Tom. It's just interesting to me that they're calling her Erika throughout this whole thing. I'd love to know your thoughts. Like, what are your thoughts? That it's just like Erika. This is like we're first name basis now with Miss Erika Jayne. Statement of facts on January 7th, 2020. I was going to say 2020. No, Emily, 2000. Erika and debtor married. On November 3rd, 2020, Erika filed a petition for divorce. To date, no divorce has been granted. No division of property has been made right. The divorce case is like on a big old pause until all this shit is done. Erika's exemptions are senior to the Ruigomez liens. What senior means in terms of bankruptcy is it comes before, it takes priority. So in bankruptcy, things get lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the order of things. And it gets paid until we get to the bottom. And then we see what's left. That's how bankruptcy works. So the order of priority is very important, and a lot of it is set by law and by statute. Exemptions may be claimed in an individual bankruptcy case. In an individual bankruptcy case, certain property may be exempt from the estate. That means it comes out from the estate. You don't get to count this shit. We're going to hold it over here. California is an opt-out state. This is getting into the ticky-tacky laws of bankruptcy, but just saying that the bankruptcy code does not allow for the exemptions to be automatic. Sometimes the exemptions are automatic, and it's like, hey, if you're an individual, this is the stuff that's excluded so you can like actually move forward with your life after bankruptcy. California is like, no. You need to come here and tell me that you want the shit. We're not going to just give it to you. So that's what it means by opt-out state. And this gets into the law about opt-out. When a debtor claims a state-created exemption, this is an exemption by law, the exemption scope is determined by state law. So the amount that Erika is going to get if this is granted, which it likely will be because she's allowed to do it by law, and the amounts are also dictated by law, then you get that amount. Erika is entitled to claim exemptions even if not claimed by debtor. So this is because Tom could normally say, hey, when you sell my house, I get this amount for living expenses going forward from selling my house. And in California, depending on whether they're in System 1 or System 2, the amount, if you are single and disabled, which might become a thing here, would be, like $250,000. She's not disabled. Tom is. So I don't know if they will pin the amount to Tom or pin the amount to her, but the max is under or just over $200,000 that you get when you sell the homestead. If you're under system one, there are two systems. It is probably more than we need to know, but we're looking at maybe $200,000 at the most. At the least, though, if they fall under the other system two, then the real property is limited to about $17,000 that comes out. So that is interesting to know. So the amounts will differ as to how much you get. So the house gets sold and you get the statutory amount for you to take and move on. The rest of it goes to paying debts. So Erika's saying, I want the portion of the sale that I am entitled to under, and she lists the section. So we're going to pull that back up. Yeah. We're going to pull it back up. When I say we're going to pull it back up, I need it to just magically happen, but then it doesn't. So this gets into the homestead exemption and other non-703B exemptions. These are parts of the code that gets into exactly what is exempt. If the petition is filed individually for a spouse, the exemption provided by this chapter and other provisions of subdivision B. So this is the law. They're saying, hey, under this law, we get this amount. And that's what they're asking for. Exemptions are seniors to rights of money judgment, lien creditors like the Ruiz-Gomez creditors. So they're lien creditors because when they got their stipulated settlement, a lien was placed on the house, meaning if the house was ever sold, they get their $11 million that, they got in a settlement and then their attorney took based on the fact that they never got it and that they've settled it. That's why I don't say it's alleged, because there's a settlement. So moving forward. Erika's rights in and to exempt property are senior to the enforcement of a money judgment. The settlement must be subject to Erika's rights. So if the house is sold, the money needs to go to Erika first and then go to the Ruiz-Gomez family. As set forth above, the trustee proposes to liquidate real and personal property to pay the Ruiz-Gomez creditors 80% of the net proceeds from the sale after payment of a real property. And we talked about these provisions. Unfortunately from their perspective, from everyone else's perspective, let me know if it's unfortunate from your perspective. Everybody else's perspective is like, fuck that shit. But that's not their perspective. Unfortunately, no provision is made for the payment of exemptions. I'm just going to say, because California is an opt-out state, you have to show up and say that you want the exemptions. So now they're showing up and saying that they want the exemptions. No provision is made for the payment of exemptions. Which exempt rights are senior to the rights? We know. Because exemption rights are senior to judgment lien creditors and the estate, the trustee may not use exempt property or its proceeds in payment of the Ruiz-Gomez loans. Hey, bankruptcy trustee, yeah, you can't do that. We get our money first. The court should approve the proposed settlement only to the extent that it preserves applicable exemption rights and priorities and carves out such property and proceeds from the proposed settlement, such property and proceeds from the proposed settlement. Conclusion: for the reasons above, the court should approve the trustee's settlement if and only if it provides for the preservation of Erika's rights. Yeah. So this again is where we're going to find a very, very strong divergence between what feels morally right and what is legally appropriate. Legally appropriate, yep. Morally right, feels gross. So I think part of this, Emily lawyer hat speculation, I think part of this, if you're Erika Jayne's team, is that you don't know how bad this is going to get yet. Erika's company, I believe will be sued by the estate at some point if they find evidence that Tom Girardi's law firm was loaning her company money, or if they personally loaned her company money. So her company could end up being on the hook for quite a lot of money. She's also named in a number of other lawsuits. She's also named as a co-creditor, so she could end up owing money back to the estate for some of this stuff. So I think what they are trying to do is carve out the money. Of course, it doesn't feel that way, but I think they are trying to carve out the money that she is owed, because ultimately that money might be what she's left with, because she's going to have to, if there are loans, she's going to have to pay those back. And there's going to be nothing left for divorce proceeds. Like, there's not going to be property to divide after the estate, because her community property is part of this estate that can be sold. So anything she purchased from 2000 to the time she filed the divorce in November is community property. And if that loan is outstanding, and Erika and her legal team will know if that's there, if there's that loan outstanding, then there's the very real and pending possibility that her business can be sued by the bankruptcy trustee on the business side to pay back the law firm, and then that money would go back to creditors. So I think they're trying to carve out any exemption that they can. Yes, it feels gross. Yes, it's legally proper. So I'll answer questions about that when we get to questions at the end. So yes, it feels gross. Yes, it's legally proper. So we'll see how much she gets. But when I think about what the strategy is here, because look, as I go to pull it up and then I keep talking, I don't know if lawyers all understand the burgeoning difference between like the court of public opinion, and it's not new. It's just exacerbated by media and truthfully by people like me who do legal commentary, because this stuff used to just be in courtrooms and you never saw it. But now we pull it out to the light, we comment on it, we talk about it, and we explain what's happening here. So this comes to light in these media cases. And because of that, there is both a PR consideration and a legal consideration. Like, yes, you can legally do this, but is it worth it? And not just is it worth it financially, but is it worth it from the PR hit that you're going to take from everybody going, yeah, but but aren't you making enough? And we don't know what she's making, and we don't know what she's potentially on the hook for. They probably do. So this has to be a strategy that's considered, not just like, I legally have the ability to do this, but do I want to take the hit to do this? And we see that when we talk about the Haley Page cases, which we will get back to maybe next week. So we talk about this, that lawyers need to understand that the public perception goes on the gut check. It goes on the, this feels yucky, or yeah, we're rooting for you. The court of public opinion stuff is very different from this is legally proper, because this can be legally proper and you can still lose in the court of public opinion on the PR strategy end of all of this. Because yeah, you can do that, but also gross, we hate it here. And that's it. Exhibit 1 is the divorce, and we've gone through the divorce proceedings before. There's nothing interesting there, really. Tom Girardi responded to this. The data separation is still TBD. Tom Girardi responded to the divorce and was like, I don't want you to... When he responded to the divorce, the thing he responded to was, I want the court to deny spousal support. There's not going to be anything left for that anyway. But anyway, so they attached the divorce filing here, and then they attached the other divorce, the response from Tom Girardi, and that's really it. And then the summons showing that everything was mailed. So that is the summons showing everything was mailed. I just wanted to okay, there's one more. This is the response. Yes. And the response says, terminate the court's ability to award support to petitioner. So Tom doesn't want spousal support to Erika. Once again, we're not going to get there. Anyway, confirm as separate property the assets and debts in the following list. Respondent has not had sufficient opportunity to identify and list such property and reserves the right to amend. So as of the filing of this document, and this was filed with the court on, it's not stamped. I have the other one that's stamped, but this was filed December, January-ish. And Tom was at that point saying, hey, we're still compiling a list of the property and we're still compiling a list of all of the property, because everything was kind of starting to really go down as this was happening. And then this is just we'll find it because it's here. Ha! They attached the entire docket. So we'll find out the day that was filed because it's in the Register of Actions. Dissolution filed, proof of service, case assigned, petition filed by petitioner November 3rd. No, where is it? Notice of pending Chapter 7. So it would have been this one, this response filed November 25th. Not that it matters. I was just curious. And these are all the people involved. This whole list of email addresses, these are all lawyer email addresses, but this is all the people involved that have to be notified in the bankruptcy court because there are so many creditors. So that is the objection from Erika. I'm also going to pull up the objection from Tom's ex-wife because I found it very interesting, and I think that you might too, and we'll go through that real quick too. Again, Tom's ex-wife has a spousal support award and is allowed to file for this. Tom's ex-wife also has a life insurance policy on him to continue paying her spousal support award should he die, which I thought was very interesting. So let's get into the objection filed by Karen Girardi. Thanks, Karen. All right. Karen Girardi filed in opposition to the same Ruiz-Gomez settlement on the basis that she has a spousal support award and she is supposed to be getting paid on it, and she is not. And Karen is pissed. She's pissed. She's ready to talk about it. Carolyn's Art Adventures, I saw your question. It caught my eye, and I'm going to do questions after. But yes, jewelry purchased with community assets would be community property. So then the question is, who bought the jewelry? If Tom bought the jewelry, it's community property. But even if she bought it with her own business funds during the time of marriage, it can still be community property unless it's a business asset. We're going to talk about that when I get to questions, because a lot of her jewelry could be actually technically owned by her business, but we'll get there. So Karen filed a limited opposition. Karen dissolved her marriage to Tom Girardi in 1989. There is a support judgment. That means she gets a monthly payment from Tom. So she has gotten spousal support since this agreement in 1989. The support is $10,000 a month. The first support payment was due like in October 16th, 1989 is when this was recorded. At present, there is $5,000 unpaid for June 2020, and then all of the spousal support stopped. So July through present day, no spousal support. So Karen alleges in this that she is owed $95,000 of spousal support that has not been paid by Tom Girardi. So Karen has not been paid her money. She is not having it. Also, like, no shade to Karen, because she got divorced. This is what was agreed to. This is a contract. He's obligated to continue to pay it. And that was part of their agreement, but there's more. So we're going to just talk a little bit about how much money Karen was getting from her divorce, just cause. And again, no shade to Karen. This is what she's entitled to. This is what she got paid. This is what it is. I'm knocking over my lightsaber lip gloss, not called that because trademarks, but my Gerard Cosmetics pink frosting lip gloss is just getting knocked all about by me. Her statement is, I was formerly married to debtor Tom Vincent Girardi. This must be weird for her too, though, watching this. Do you think she had any idea? I'm curious. I want to know what Karen knows. Because I think Karen knew there was shit going down because there are not contracts. There have been news reports from the individual who did the accountings with regard to this divorce, because this was a contested divorce. So there was. I see a lot of you asking about the amount of time you get spousal support for. If in California you are married for over 10 years, it is a life obligation. So once you get over that threshold, it is a life obligation. And this is what they agreed to. They also have a child in common. And legal way of saying they have a kid, like she's the baby mama. They have a kid who's probably older than me, to be fair, or around my age. Also, not this kid's fault. It's the daughter that's married to the lawyer that's part of the law firm Lyra, I believe. So I believe. All right. Formerly married. Dissolution judgment was entered September 8th, September 8th, 1989. So this divorce took, let's see how long this divorce went on for. No, they dissolved it in 1989. They filed with the court. Okay, so it doesn't look like it dragged on. All right. Just curious. See, the more I read these, when you see it highlighted, the more I read them, the more things come up to the brain. So she's just saying she's owed back payments in her declaration. The attorney filed a declaration saying attached is true and correct copies of the divorce proceedings. Here's the exhibit list and request for judicial notice. The judgment, marital statement agreement, abstract of support judgment, and index from the Superior Court records. We're not going to go through all of it. We're just going to go through some of it. These are the original divorce forms that were filed. What date were these filed on? Let's see. This court acquired jurisdiction of the respondent on 12/7/83. The current date, September 8th, 1989. So this was them appearing in court, going over the settled agreement. I hereby confirm that I've consulted with and advised my client with regard to the terms and provisions of this judgment. So it looks like the divorce was filed in 83 and finished in 89, which is interesting. We'll look at the timeline down below to answer that question. So this is the attorney saying, we've worked with Karen Girardi. She knows what she's signing. We want to enter into this agreement. This is the marital settlement agreement, December 28th, 1988, admitted as evidence into the divorce, trial, as it were, but this was an agreement. And then it goes through the entire agreement. In the event respondent does not pay before the agreement's enforceable, Karen got $750,000 flat payment. So Karen got $750,000 out the gate before the payments started. Then the total amount agreed upon is, let's see, the release of claims is like, this is what goes to you, this is what goes to you, break all of this down. Where are our financial amounts? I just wanted to show you guys because we don't always get to peek into fancy rich people divorces. I've never had a fancy rich person divorce. We never get to see it. So I'm just kind of curious, truthfully. And since it's coming up, we might as well just look. I mean, they attached it. It's all here. We get to take a look. Respondent shall pay to petitioner as part of the compromise settlement and resolution of the property issues. She didn't get the house. He kept the house. He bought her out, essentially. $1,400,000 payable as follows: $750,000 payable on or before December 11th, 1988, $400,000 on or before January 1st, 1989, $250,000 on or before January 1st, 1990. So this is buying her out of the house in the Pasadena property that's now worth like $17 million is what they're estimating. So if she had gotten the house at that time. Would it have sold for $17 million in the 80s? No, but it would have been, a substantial sale. So that's part of what this is. This is buying her out of the right to the house. And she moved out after this agreement. And that's in there too, the date she was moving out and all of that stuff. So this really is the, hey, I'm buying you out of your part of the house. And this is the breakdown of how that's owed. So when people say divorces can be expensive, they are. That's why he didn't sell the house then. Kept the house, gave her the cash. This just continues to break down how much. There was a deed on the property until she was paid her $1.4+ million. And then after the $1.4 million, she also got that monthly sum of $10,000. And I'm going to pull up where it says how long she gets the $10,000 so you can see the language. Family support and custody. Respondent, Girardi, because she filed for divorce. Respondent shall pay to petitioner as family support a sum of $10,000 per month, commencing the first day of March 1989 and continuing the first day of each month thereafter until petitioner's death, that's Karen, petitioner's remarriage, Karen, respondent's death, Tom, or further order of the court. So if the court modifies it for some reason. So that's what it is. She dies, she gets remarried, he dies, literally till death do you part with your money at this point. It's like, it's dark humor when everybody's in their 80s, but also, yeah, it is what it is. Till death do you part with your money. So that was the spousal support and the child support. The child is now an adult. As security for petitioners, Karen's future support in the event of respondent's death, petitioner intends to obtain insurance on respondent's life in the face amount of $500,000. So there's also a life insurance policy securing future payments, which is interesting to me. It doesn't change the legal position, but for me, it's like, okay, well, though, even if you don't get compensated by the bankruptcy course, he is in his 80s. And if he dies before you, then the life insurance policy kicks in. So there's also that. And the life insurance policy should be able to be, given to the daughter. We'll see. And then the daughter would be able to recoup the life insurance, depending on how it's written. Not an insurance expert. So in the event respondent, Tom, predeceases Karen, Karen shall have no right to seek or obtain a probate homestead in any property. So literally she gets the monthly support and the life insurance policy, and that's it. She can't go after the house anymore because she got bought out of it. The rest of the agreement here, I'm going to scroll through it with y'all so you can see it. The rest of the agreement gets into, pay your taxes, and this is dividing everything up. This agreement's binding on successors and interests. So people that come down the road, that everybody was fully advised by their attorneys. This whole section is like, you talked to your attorney. You talked to your attorney. You talked. 3 pages of, but you've been advised. Covenants and warranties, like legally illegal, gets into this is exactly what it is. This is what we're guaranteeing. This is how it's going to work. Construction of agreement gets, it doesn't even really get written into contracts anymore because it's all in the initial statement of the agreement. Attorneys' fees and costs are paid by their own, each in their own. Date, jurisdiction, California. Everybody signed. Yay, you're divorced. And then this is the filing of it so that it's enforceable. This is literally the court docket because handwritten back in the day. So this is the handwritten court docket for the divorce case, and then everybody who got a copy. So we've gone through the objections for both. So Karen is just saying, hey, I believe that my $10,000 a month is a superior claim. So if the property does get sold, I'm owed this debt from the estate. And so that needs to be paid. There's going to have to be a hearing on all of this. That hearing's on April 6th. So we'll see. We've covered the ex and the soon-to-be ex filing their stuff. Hello, Octo Nation. How are you? Let's get into, I need to pull it up first. Let's get into the financial documents. I've been talking for almost an hour, and then we're just going to go to questions because okay. Financials. I know you're going to have the most questions about financials. I'm going to do the state bar stuff first and then go to financials. I've reversed myself. Overruled. No, sustained. We're allowing it. I've reversed myself. We're going to talk about the state bar real fucking fast. And then we're going to go to the financials because then I think there's going to be the most questions about that and about Erika's stuff. And so we'll get into that next. So let's pull up the state bar's objection real quick just to go over it because I saw confusion on Twitter about what the state bar was objecting to. And I just wanted to make sure it was clear because the state bar has finally stood the fuck up and said, oh, by the way, we should do something. You think? Because it feels like it's a little bit late to me. And I covered this briefly in another video where it was a different Friday Night Live where we covered this, but we were covering multiple topics and we didn't get into it too much. So I just wanted to touch on it real quick. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Because it's Friday Night Live and I do what I want. I do what I want. Like making this document way too big. All right. Hopefully you can see it. I'm bitty on the screen. Verified objection of interested party, State Bar of California. This is filed in the conservatorship case. So in the conservatorship case, the brother's saying, yo, court, my brother cannot do the things. So he needs a conservator. I want to be the conservator. We need a doctor's diagnosis. The court-appointed doctor came in and said, I believe it's late onset dementia. The State Bar was like, we have questions. And this is why we have questions. The State Bar, this is a very well-written legal document. I appreciate it. It is written in IRAC format. It's easy to go through, easy to read. If you have questions about it, I'll answer them during the Q&A. But what they're asking for is an evidentiary hearing and a neutral medical evaluation. They want another doctor and they want a hearing about it. Why do they want that? Because the temporary conservator's petition was filed under highly unusual circumstances. It comes only after proposed conservatee Tom Vincent Girardi became enmeshed in mounting legal troubles and is facing imminent State Bar discipline. That imminent State Bar discipline could have been there way back, my opinion. So the State Bar has said sus. It's sus. All of it's sus. This entire motion just says it's sus. We want another doctor. And they list out why, and I thought the timing was interesting, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. As recently as November 2020, 2 months before the petition was filed, Girardi was holding himself out as a legal expert and moderated a legal education panel discussion with leading trial attorneys and presented on complex litigation strategies. So they're like, we've seen you presenting. So we have questions. They say that behavior belies allegations that Girardi is now incapable of caring for himself such that a conservator must be appointed. Remember, conservatorships, we're all jaded. The law nerds are jaded about the conservatorships. By the way, if you want to be a law nerd, you just have to subscribe. Once you subscribe, you're a law nerd. If you are just subscribing to the channel tonight, will you let us know in the chat that you're a new law nerd? Because I love that. So don't forget to do the YouTube things and subscribe, like the video and things like that. Hi. Okay. I've done the YouTube things like a professional. So the State Bar is like, we've seen you talking like an expert. So we have some questions about whether you are incapable, and we are jaded. The law nerds are jaded. This is where I was going. You saw the train of thought. It got derailed. We're back on the track. The law nerds are jaded. Why? Because Brittany. Because when we look at Brittany, we're like, right, but conservatorships are for individuals that are severely incapacitated, but Brittany. So is Girardi of the severe incapacitation that we should see for a conservatorship or not? And that's really what the State Bar would like to know, and they would like another doctor to take a look at it. They also go through and say that there are serious and inequitable consequences that will result from the granting of the petition based on the current record. There's not enough. because it will impede the ability of the state bar to prosecute Girardi for alleged serious violations of the rules of professional conduct and the State Bar Act, and undermine the state bar's ability to protect the public, a bit late, and preserve confidence in the integrity of the legal profession. We could have used that a little bit earlier, my opinion, but the state bar is like, could you please not find him incapacitated if he's not actually, because we would like to disbar him and we would like to go through the proceedings and find out what the fuck happened here. And we would like to do that so we can do our job. I mean, they could have done it sooner. I think I would like to know. The LA Times pointed out that there were 100 lawsuits and there are currently pending. I'm going to go through the list. There are currently, in California alone, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at my list. 5, 6, 7 lawsuits that allege issues with money with regard to the practice of law. And then there's, the $11 million Rui Gomez settlement. And that's not even counting the stuff going on with Lion Air. Like, there is so much that would have raised red flags before. Like, now's not the time. My list, by the way. So now's not the time. But the state bar was like, please, let us have a shot. We would like to discipline him. And if he is under a conservatorship, there's nothing we can do. The state bar's paramount statutory mission is to protect the public. All of this makes me cringe because, but where were you? The LA Times has thoughts about where he was. Let's go through the dates real quick, and then we're getting onto the financials. So they talk about the fact that in October 6, 2020, Girardi gave a 1-hour interview regarding trial strategy, during which he spoke in detail regarding trials he had litigated. On November 21st, he gave a 1.5-hour MCLE, which is the Continuing Legal Education panel discussion sponsored by the Consumer Attorneys of California. Then on December 10th, the state bar sent a letter to Girardi telling him that he was under investigation. There was a lot went down before December 10th. On December 14th, the district court entered that $2 million judgment and ordered Girardi's assets frozen. On December 15th, the LA Superior Court issued an order to show cause why Girardi should not be reported to the state bar for misconduct and violations of the rules of professional conduct for withholding settlement funds from plaintiffs that were required to be maintained in the client trust account and distributed in a timely manner. That's in the Rui Gomez case. On January 15th, the state bar sent a letter to Girardi informing him that it had received and complied with an investigation as requested by the United States Bankruptcy Trustee. And then this was filed. Girardi was cooperating with the state bar up until this was filed based on what the state bar had to say in their filing. So the state bar is saying it's sus. They are asking for an independent medical evaluation and an evidentiary hearing. So we will see what the court decides to do with this. Personal thoughts, my thoughts. I hope that the court grants the other medical evaluation. I don't care if we see it. In fact, I really don't want to. That's private medical information, and that's something that we all don't need to know. But knowing that the court has gone deeper into that and had a hearing regarding it, and then knowing what the outcome of that hearing is, I think will put a lot of these questions to rest. And if that independent evaluation comes back and is like, no, he's not capable, he needs a conservatorship, then there's not really much else to be said about it, is there? But now there's so many questions lingering, and it doesn't look like any neurological tests were done. It looks like just an interview. So it would be nice to have, with everything at stake, a little bit more of an evaluation. And that's what the state bar is asking for. And I think it's appropriate. We'll see what the court decides to do. I hope they grant it and do that. If I'm a judge sitting there looking at this fucking circus unfolding before me, I'd want to know too. I would want to know too. I'd also be looking at the state bar going, yeah, but where the fuck was you at? Where were you? Where were you? But also, I'd want to know. So we'll see what the court decides to do on that. I hope they do it. Let's pull up the financials, and then we're going to get, it's going to be long. I know we had lots of documents to get through tonight. Then we're going to, I pulled up the wrong one. Then we're going to do questions, and then court of public opinion, because we still have court of public opinion because it's Friday, and that's what we do on Friday night. There's a lot of information in this. I did go through the financials and redact information out. So let me pull up my redacted one. You're not redacted. You're not redacted. Where's the will the redacted version please stand up? There we go. Attention. Y'all, Gen Z was trying to cancel Eminem. I wasn't here for it. I don't know if that really happened or if that was just like a TikTok meme. I don't know, but I enjoy Eminem. Definitely not for the faint of heart, though. Some of his lyrics are fucking rough. But anyway, I was not thrilled. Like they tried. Gen Z's coming for my side part and skinny jeans. And even though I am not a skinny legend, I still enjoy a skinny jean because, you know, it's basically made jeggings acceptable. And you can't cancel Eminem. You know, we love Eminem. All right. Some of the lyrics are rough. Like the older I get, some of the lyrics I'm like, ooh, I can't. But Lose Yourself will forever be a banger. It just is. You get in your car and you're like, lose yourself in the music. It's amazing. All right, let's get into these financials. I'm going to stop talking about my love for Eminem. We're going to do it. It gets double swoops. Financial information. This was filed by the bankruptcy trustee in the personal bankruptcy case with the help of the conservator at this point, Tom Girardi's brother. Now, I remember, y'all might not remember because I talk a lot. We have a lot of content up in here. The brother said helping Tom with the bankruptcy was going to be substantially challenging because Tom is very guarded. He doesn't know where all the financial information is. So I do not believe this is a complete record. I believe this is an initial record and there is an ongoing investigation into financials. They also say that there is an ongoing investigation into the financials here. So, bankruptcy court, Tom Girardi, filed by the bankruptcy trustee from the information that he has gathered. Summary of assets. Total real estate. And each of these categories are broken down below. So we're going to get into the breakdowns. 17.6 million. Total personal property. 56.849 million. 56,849,833.74. Like, where the fuck did the 74 cents come from? I have questions, but we'll see it down below. Total of assets. Things that could be sold for value. 74,449,833.74. A lot of numbers. Creditors who have claims secured by property. So those are claims that are attached to the property. House, other property, mostly house. 16,185,000. That includes the $11 million Rui Gomez settlement because that is secured by a lien on the house in Pasadena. Creditors who have unsecured claims. So that's people whose claims are not secured by the property in any way, but these are priority unsecured claims. 5,373,000 of priority unsecured claims. You know what that is? Money owed to the government. That shit's taxes because those are priority, but they're not secured by property. Non-priority unsecured claims, like all you other bitches who have unsecured property, you may or may not get paid. Like the secured stuff goes first and then the priorities go first. This is everybody else. 35 million. So they're totaling that up to over 56 million in debts, 74 million in assets. These are personal. I imagine that there is, look, after the bankruptcy is done on the business, he still owes it. The business is still him. So there are going to be more financials on the business end. And if there's anything left over on this side, it's going to go to the business side. It's not just like, oh, cool, we out. It's not going to happen that way. Stated income right now, monthly income is at $2,958. We'll get into where that's from. Stated expenses, none. The bankruptcy court is doing all that stuff. So he doesn't have anywhere else to live at the moment. All of that's being handled by the court. That's still being investigated. Answer these questions for the administrative records. Okay, well, these are primarily consumer debts, and this is bankruptcy, Chapter 7, forced bankruptcy, not voluntary. Taxes and certain other debts you owe the government. $5,373,000. That number is going to go up. You know why? Because this is just to the franchise tax board. That's California state income taxes. So I imagine that the feds probably are owed some money as well. That is my speculation. Schedule AB property. Look, I took out the home address in Pasadena. I know not everybody does. It just makes me feel weird putting somebody's home address up on a screen on the YouTubes. I know the information's out there. I don't care. I blacked it out anyway. That's why that's there. This is the home in Pasadena that you've seen on Real Housewives. It is going on the market. It is not on the market yet. It has not hit the MLS yet, but it's being listed with Compass Realtors. They just signed an agreement with the bankruptcy trustee so that they could list the house. Because Tom doesn't get to choose. The bankruptcy trustee gets to choose. So this is as to debtor one only. Again, this is being filed as to Tom. Erika is not filing for bankruptcy. Tom was pulled into bankruptcy. That doesn't mean she's not going to get pulled in, and we'll talk about that as we get down into this document a bit more. Current value of the entire property, $16.5 million is their estimated valuation. Value from financial statement debtor provided to his lenders. So this is from Tom's estimation of what the home's worth that he used to secure loans from other now creditors. We'll see if the real estate market bears out that house is worth $16 million in Pasadena. There is another property out in Riverside, single family home, $1.1 million. The information comes from PGA West Property. Total real property, 17.6. 2 cars, Land Rover and an Aston Martin. Both of those are leased. This, again, does not include Erika's cars. This just includes what is attributed to Tom. I would not be surprised if the cars that Erika owns are owned through EJ and not under her name as an individual, but it looks like a single member LLC. So that's a whole separate conversation. It's interesting to me that under watercraft, aircraft, motorhome, it says no. Aren't there planes? Where are the planes? Where's Erika being like, well, we have the big one and we have the small one. Where are the planes? They're probably owned by the business. I know, but it was just funny to me that they weren't listed. They're probably owned by or leased by Girardi Cases. All right. Household goods and furnishings. Yes. Household goods and furnishing, electronics. So all the values are unknown. They haven't gone through the house and said, okay, these are all the paintings and this is all of the artwork that are collectibles or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or does Tom Girardi have Pokemon cards in a vault somewhere? I doubt it, but probably artwork and other works of art, but they haven't gone through and evaluated those things yet. Like, is there a Peloton? How much is I bet you there's a Peloton. How much are the clothes worth? We haven't gotten into any of this yet. When we get all that information, we'll go through it. Jewelry. We know there's going to be some. We don't know what it's worth. There are no non-farm animals. So that's good to know. There is cash. They don't know how much. And then they get into some of the bank accounts. I crossed out all the bank account numbers. There's a bank account that has $6,000 in it. There's a bank account that has $5 million in it. Look, here's my beef. Not Shia LaBeef. Emily LaBeef. Emily has beef. I know you can't just do that because you're in bankruptcy. Like, I know what I'm going to say can't happen. I get it. But there is $5 million sitting in a bank account. You are ordered to pay $2 million to victims who were your clients that you have not paid, and you just didn't make it happen? I mean, come on. However, I understand that then that's not fair because the Rui Gomez family has had to sue your ass to get their $11 million judgment, and they haven't gotten paid on that either. And you've got $5 million sitting in the bank. It annoys me. This bothers me. Maybe it shouldn't. Let me know how you feel about it. I'm annoyed. Like, there's creditors out there everywhere, and there's just $5 million chilling in the bank. Like, what? How are you $5 million behind on taxes and you got $5 million chilling in the bank? What? I have thoughts. Nano Bank, $300. Other bank accounts that have been closed. Closed in February, unknown amount of money. It'll be interesting to see what those are, or if these could also be loans for things. We don't know. Wells Fargo Advisors has $207,000. It's probably an investment account. Same with Morgan Stanley. Same with Western International Securities for $194,000. So these are personal assets. Then we get into interest in businesses, non-publicly traded stock, or interest in incorporated and unincorporated businesses. In Girardi Cases, the law firm, 100% ownership. G&L Aviation, 50%. I imagine this is who owns the planes. It would make sense. G&E Partners, LLC, a third. I imagine if this is, I don't know who G&E is, but a third is what that looks like. Kelco Properties, 45%. Platinum Partners, 33%. Wilshire Partnership, 70%. Wilshire Partners, 100%. Coaches, LLC, 40%. So those are businesses he owns interests in. There's also other types of accounts. But interestingly, they have said that there are no retirement accounts, corporate bonds, government bonds, security deposit, annuities, IRAs, trusts. They haven't found any of those things. Licenses, franchises, and other general intangibles. Bel Air Country Club membership worth $75,000. Lakeside Golf Club membership, Wilshire Golf Club membership, and that Jonathan Club membership. So there is potential for items that are assets there. Tax refunds owed. Nope. Yeah, we've seen that. Other amounts someone owes you. Yes. Girardi Cases. $51 million. What the fuck is this? What is it? Tell me what this is. You personally owed what? Girardi. Okay. Loan to Girardi Cases. $51 million. $51 million. What the fuck? I need more information. Now, it says loan. This could be unpaid wages, but this is amounts owed. So he's saying the law firm owes him $51 million. Now, look, that's not going to happen because I don't see these two bankruptcy trustees fighting over this money, because at the end of the day, Girardi Cases and Tom Girardi, like one pool of money. So it's broken down, but it's one pool of money and it's all going to get paid back to people. But I have so many questions about this $51 million. I want to know the things. 2 life insurance policies, the surrender values on these are probably just both owed to him. $48,000 and $36,000. Those seem low for somebody of his wealth, but he probably has money elsewhere that maybe is not accounted for this. Getting on to other things. Total financial assets, $56 million. So look, a lot of the financial assets are coming from this $51 million. So if you take this $51 million out of it, it's like $5 million in actual assets, and that is mostly from that bank account. So the $56 million number is not, look, this loan from Girardi Cases is not going to come back. This amount is not it. Like that, the real assets are going to be less than that. So it's the property plus maybe the additional $5 million. So the 17 million plus the 5 million. But anyway, they're totaling it to $74 million. Maths. Secured claims. Alt Financial Network is a lender. So they have amount of claim, 2.7 million, value of collateral, 16.5. That's the house. California Attorney Lending, unknown. There are lawsuits over this. So I'm sure they will be able to figure out the amount, but I think it's unknown because I don't remember if it's resolved. Let me look and see if the Attorney Lending is one of the ones that's resolved, because I think that it was Law Finance Group that's resolved, not Attorney Lending. So Attorney Lending popped up also on the business side, being like, we're owed money too. So that's unknown at this point. That was a loan, an attorney finance loan. Chase is owed 2.47, again, secured by the house. City National, unknown, secured by $5 million. I don't know if that's secured by the amount in the bank account or not. Comerica Bank, unknown. Shares of Coast Resorts, Inc. So that's the asset there. The amount to Karen Girardi, that is secured by the home, unknown amount. Well, we know the amount. It's $95,000 currently, and then it's $10,000 for the rest of her life every single month. What they're going to do with that is figure out a lump sum settlement, I'm sure. The Ruy Gomez creditors, secured by the property. So this secured by all assets, $11 million. Add the dollar amount, 16.15 million. Let's keep going. The Franchise Tax Board of California says that they are owed $5.3 million. And the priority amount, the amount that they get first before others, is $4.6 million. So that's, it's a chunk of change for sure. The IRS, unknown. I like that they're like, yeah, what we're probably going to have is also tax problems with the IRS. Ally Financial, $73,000. Alta San Rafael Association, HOA dues, unknown. Like, okay. American Express, $15,000. American Express, $3,000. American Express, $36,000. These are probably also business cards that are in his name. AT&T, like $105. Okay, AT&T Wireless, $1,400. Baker, Kerner, and Nahara, $200,000. That looks like another law firm that needs to get paid. Bank of America, this says from credit report, so who knows. Golf membership from the Bel Air Country Club, $6,000 is owed. That's probably not going to happen, is my guess. They're gonna relinquish that right quick. City National Bank, $9,000. So this is just on and on. City of Pasadena, Coachella Water District, Cooley Attorneys at Law. These are another law group that says they are owed $225,000 according to this. DirecTV, Edelson PC, unknown. They are in the lawsuit with Edelson. Ingstrom, Lipscomb, and Lack. That's a great law firm name. Lipscomb and Lack. I don't know if I would put Lack last. It's like Lack in, I don't know if that's the order I would go in, but okay. Erika Jayne as a creditor. Unknown. I think it's very interesting. I think this acknowledges the marital rights. Erika Saldana, $973,000 from a breach of contract lawsuit. Girardi Cases, is going to be owed money. And this, it's interesting to me to see all the like so many law firms involved in this. I mean, it's just law firm after law firm after law firm. Okay, let's keep going. I don't want to get off track. GSI is a security group that filed a lawsuit against them that looks like it needs to be refiled because there were some technical issues with it. I don't know what this one is for Hague. Hideaway looks like the HOA up in Riverside. Hockman, Stalkin, Tosher, and Perez. Legal services, $11,000. Imperial Irrigation, $1,000. These are all the debts. In Bloom Orchids, $11,000. Do you think they were just getting fresh flowers to the house like all the time? Is that what was happening? I'm so curious. Jasmine Gomez, claim for legal malpractice. Jill O'Callahan, breach of contract. Jill O'Callahan is part of the group that sued over the building on Wilshire with Robert Keese, the former business partner. Joe Ortez, $1,000. John Abazian, breach of contract, $1.6 million. That's one of the legal settlements. Auto, $56,000. I think that's one of the leased vehicles. JPMCB, $2.54 million. It doesn't say what kind of loan this is or what kind of information this is. Judy Selberg, that's another lawsuit, $184,000. KABCAM, I don't know. Kathleen, claim for legal malpractice. KCC, class action services, litigation funding. That's another suit that's going on, $7.5 million. I think KCC settled. I think that's actual settled debt. Let me take a look. Nope. Where is the KCC? Yeah, KCC had a judgment entered October 28th, 2020. So that's actually a legal judgment. All right. I have to refer back to the chart. I have to go back to the chart because we need the chart. All right. So that is 7.5 million. Kimberly Archie, that is a breach of contract claim 316,000. Architectural planning 205,000. LA Arena Company 2 million. Staples Center luxury box suite fees due. I'm sorry. You owe 2 million for your box at the Staples Center. I cannot. LADWP, Lakeside Golf Club, Lamborghini Financial for $133,000. Law offices of Philip R. Sheldon, unknown lawsuit, care of Ron Richards. I was wondering if he was involved in this somehow. It looks like he represents one of the creditors. That's interesting to me. Law offices of Robert P. Finn, unknown lawsuit. Y'all, the amount. Lee Lipscomb from Engstrom, Lipscomb and Lack. Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, Metro Express Lane, like everything is on here. This is where the odds and ends come from, $4.30. Metro Express Lanes, don't hold your breath. National Construction Rentals, $777,000. New York State Department of Taxation, okay. Ocala Equine Hospital, I have questions. Pacific Mercantile Bank, 94,000. Pasadena Water and Power, Pebble Beach Resorts. Okay. Looks like more lawyers, 6,000. We're going to keep going through this. Richard Fair, claim for interest on class action lawsuit. Robert Keese, this is the business partner, breach of contract. This was the funds he was supposed to be paid for his retirement according to the lawsuit he filed. RPC Tax Property Tax Advisors, 8,000. On and on. Salem Media Group, 21,000. What does Salem Media Group do? Was that like advertising for the firm? Was it advertising for Erika? I have questions. Another lawsuit, SoCal Gas, Stillwell Madsen. That is a litigation funding, $6.2 million. That's a settled claim. Stillwell Madsen lawsuit. The French Hand Laundry. Is that the French Laundry that got the governor in so much trouble? 6,000. That's listed twice, which is interesting to me because it looks like it's the same exact thing, but listed twice. The Plantation Golf Club, the Servo Law Firm, the Village Gardener. There's so many, you guys. Virage Capital Management, 9 million. What? More litigation funding. Virginia Antonio, 1.26. Webster Training Center, 12,000. Wells Fargo, unknown. That's the lawsuit. Western Exterminator, like pay your exterminators the $68 and let them go. Like let them be free. Wilshire Country Club. And this is list of people to be notified about the debt you owe. So this is all the lawyers that need to be notified. This is the total amount of debts, that 35 million. Other things that are interesting. The excluded property. It looks like they're turning back over the cars because they said they weren't even trying to chase them down. That was filed a little bit back. Co-debtors. Erika Jayne. So they list Erika Jayne as a co-debtor on quite a lot of these. The San Rafael Association, American Express. So she's listed Bel Air Country Club, City National Bank as a co-debtor on the things they can list her as a co-debtor on, including some of these lawsuits. So she is listed as a co-debtor quite a lot of these debts. And that's where she comes into this, because now it's like, okay, there's this other person that also owes this amount. And that's where it opens up room for it to become a problem for her, because they're going to say, okay, well, you're a co-debtor. You need to pay this back to the extent that the property might not pay it all back. And this is where the marital property comes in. So This is her listed as a co-debtor on almost everything that we just read through. So co-debtor, employment status not employed, really. We've become aware. So this 2,900 is Social Security, and they didn't list anything else. So they have not listed interest, dividends, and stuff. I'm going to move through this quick because I want to get to the income from the last few years because I thought that was interesting. They don't have monthly ongoing expenses listed yet. That's all still being investigated. So let's go back to the previous year's income. Income in 2019. Gross income in 2019, $6,991. What? I have so many questions. I feel like the IRS is like, we have questions, lots of questions, because if he wasn't paying himself wages, I'm just curious as to how much he was running through his law firm, because it feels like he might have been running everything through the business and actually not really paying himself in a way that would affect Social Security or other things like that. So he, was not paying himself in 2019, which is very interesting. So again, everything probably being run through the business. 2018, gross income, $33,000 based on wages and commissions. So he really was not paying himself W-2 wages, which is very interesting. But in 2019, he had Social Security, interest, dividends. I have so many questions about the $16 million in long-term capital gains. I have questions. And then rents, royalties, and partnerships incomes for $820,000. So this is where most of the money came from, which is why he wasn't paying himself W-2 wages. These things are all taxed differently. Interest is taxed differently. Dividends is taxed differently. Capital gains are taxed differently than W-2 income. So this is what it is. 2018 Social Security, interest, dividends, capital gains at $1 million. I want to know what changed between 2018 and 2019 that our capital gains have gone from $1.7 million to $16.9 million. Other payments made before bankruptcy gets into really all the other ways that they can see where money went. So that's going to be looking for donations made, money shifted potentially, and things like that. And all of these sections say financial records under review. So the trustee is reserved the right to fill these sections in because the financial records are under review. Legal actions, repossessions, foreclosures, and this gets into all the pending litigation, the divorce, the legal malpractice, breach of contract, non-toxic tort. This is essentially a breach of contract for Stillwell, the financial lender. The ones I highlighted in pink are ones that have settled. So breach of contract, contractual fraud with the law offices of Robert P. Finn. He's like Edelson PC. I worked on this case. I never got paid. Robert Keese, essentially a breach of contract, and then the partnership one. Vitrex LLC, breach of contract, law offices of Philip Sheldon, contract fraud. Unjust enrichment. This is the Edelson PC case. California attorney lending, judgment. Rui Gomez, malpractice. That's the $11 million case. The Girardi conservatorship. This is, Thomas, the brother, versus Girardi. This is Lipscomb, Thomas, and GNL Aviation, breach of fiduciary duty, pending. Those are the pending lawsuits that they have pulled up. Financial records under reviews, gifts or contributions. Yes, gifts or contributions, financial records under review. List losses under review. And the rest of these are just financial records under review. All of these different sections. Do you have property stored in a storage unit? Yes, but it's under review. Do you hold property for anyone else? Yes, but it's under review. So there's more to come on this. We've already been through all the businesses. These are all the businesses. We've gone through it. Then the bankruptcy trustee signs and says, the trustee's knowledge of the contents of schedules is based on limited and incomplete records located at the business offices and the input of the conservator, Robert Girardi. That is all of it. Y'all have hung with me. Y'all, it's time for questions. That has been a long breakdown of these. We're going to get back into the chat. Hi, everybody. That was a lot. It's a Friday, and we're talking about fuck tons of money. If you're a new law nerd, will you go ahead and just subscribe and then let me know if you're a new law nerd? Because all you need to do to be a law nerd is go ahead and subscribe. You can also follow me on the socials if you want to. I'm there sometimes too. So that. I have so many questions. I have questions about that $56 million. I have so many questions. I have so many questions. Do you think he got a PPP loan? I don't think so, but I know you can find it if he did. I can't imagine. I don't know if his business would have qualified, but anything's possible, and it'll pull up if he did. Though if he paid it back, if he paid it to salaries, then he wouldn't even have to pay it up. So it wouldn't really be a debt. So it might not be on here. All right. I'm going to try to get back into some of the questions that came in. Please put question ahead of time. There are like 3,000 of us here. I don't know if he owns a racehorse. I would imagine there must be. There must be something, right? Because that's the only reason you owe to the equine. It's very interesting. The Pebble Beat debt was very recently I'm acquired. I think so. Let's see what else. I know equine means horse. I was just very curious because I've never heard anything about like a horse is a horse. Like not like we know the Girardis from the Real Housewives, but I was so curious about equine service debts. Very, very, very interested because interesting that there's a horse apparently in oh, thank you. French Laundry or dry cleaners. That's a lot of dry cleaning bills. Like pay your people. God, just pay your people. This is a great question, Carrie. My lips are I've talked so much that I've like talked off my lip gloss and it was bothering me. We're gonna reapply. It's time to reapply. Not only is it a lightsaber, but it has a mirror. So I can actually like see it. Though I can see in my camera too. So why does he owe so much to other law firms? Not a dumb question at all, Carrie. This is actually a fantastic question. Here's why. When he's doing these cases, he was the one bringing the people in, bringing the clients in, using his name, his fame, his charm to essentially bring in the clients. And then he was bringing on other law firms to work with him to handle the work, and bringing on local law firms in different jurisdictions to maintain these cases. So it was work he was doing with other law firms, and then they weren't getting paid according to these allegations. They weren't getting paid for the work that they were doing with him. So on a lot of these cases, it would be the Girardi Cases firm, bringing in the clients, and then another firm also working with them on the nuts and bolts of stuff. So that is why. Interesting. Salem Media Group is a media broadcasting company in California targeting audiences and Christian values. Classy mom, that's fascinating. I hope that was a Google and not off the top of your head, but that's funny. So, yep. So I'm going to get to questions. He owes everyone under the sun, literally, yes, including the horse trainer or the equine vet in Florida. I want to know more about the equine vet in Florida. I don't know why I'm so hung up on that. I'm very curious about it. Like, what? And Sandra said, Salem Media Group is America's leading radio broadcaster, internet content provider, and magazine and book publisher targeting audiences in Christian and family-themed content and conservative values. That's like the opposite of Erika Jayne walking around with necklaces that say the C word. Not that there's any judgment there, but how many fucks do I give is not family-themed content. But then again, there's David Dobrik, and he kept getting Kids' Choice Awards, so whatever. Is anyone else looking for Mauricio's real estate company to be listed in this, right? One of the only things not listed in this. Oh, man. This is a crazy, insane amount of debt. Yes, Sarah Ann, totally agree, girl. It's beyond me how some of these smaller debts were not just paid. Like, why carry the debt? Why not? Right. Why not just like, especially, look, for the larger companies, there's an operating capital that can help with things. But for your laundry and your exterminator and your lawn services, just ugh. Just come on. Nancy Anderson asked, am I a practicing attorney? I am a licensed attorney. I am not currently, and this is very recent, practicing because I have moved. I am doing consulting only because I am tired of going to court. So I do not do all that I used to do. I have spent over 10 years in court. And I am done. And I also did quite a lot of legal work with businesses in the civil sector, while also worked, as a research attorney. So I've done enough in court. I am done. So I am only working in a consulting capacity. If my license is still active in California, if I needed to do stuff in California, I could and would. I don't want to. I simply don't want to. So yes, I could. No, I'm not. But that is a recent shift since the move. Can the same counsel represent him and Erika Jayne? Tracy, no, I think that they will have interests that are at odds in all of this. I don't think it would be great at all. Erika's middle name is not Jane. Erika Jayne is her stage name. I just call her Erika Jayne, but it's her stage name. Thank you, Classy Mom. Yep, I am. There is no more court stuff. Y'all, if you've seen my TED Talk, you'll see the burnout is real. But even after I left the DA's office, I practiced in civil a bit. And then I did a lot of business consulting, and I really like consulting better. And so some of the consulting I do is with other attorneys, some of it's with direct clients. But I focus on commentary. Why? Because it's way more fun hanging out with you all. I love it so much. You guys are the best. Yes, the IRS, Christopher, is all over this for sure. Didn't Erika Jayne say she paid like $60K for Glam Squad in a month? I think it was 40, but yes, she has definitely made statements about how much she pays for Glam. I think it was 40. I'm sure the chat knows. Do you think he got a stimulus check? I don't know, Rena. It's the stimulus checks were based off of income, but he's on Social Security, so I don't really know how that works. Isn't this low-key money laundering through your own business? See, Starlight, this is one of the things that I tell a lot of my business clients. Sometimes it might feel like money laundering, but it's not, because if you run everything through your own business that's legal, you won't end up in issues. Do I think that maybe they were taking it to an extreme? Who knows? These numbers seem a little askew for what was coming in, but also quite a lot of money was coming in from his investments, so he wouldn't need to pay himself like on a W-2. So there's that. It's just, it's just part of it. So I don't know. I will be interested to see what the financial stuff says, because I'll be interested to see what the rest of the financial stuff says. Where is the business? How much was being run through the business? What was properly being run through the business? Were there things that were not properly being run through the business? I'm sure the IRS has their spidey senses up already. That's going to probably look into this. The IRS tends to do that when shit like this happens. So we'll see. But can people launder money through their own business? Yes, it can happen. But can some of the stuff that you run through a business be legal and feel not legal? Also, yes. So there's that. Imagine having to call all these companies and try to get the information. That's what they're doing. And the bankruptcy trustee and the bankruptcy court will have their expenses paid and get paid. But yeah, they're going to have to dig into everything for sure. Yeah, he might be keeping the $5 million in the bank to get the interest. He might. All right, I'm going to try to get to some more questions. I'm just looking for them to have question in front, because there are a lot of them, because, there are almost 3,000 of us law nerds in here. Okay, somebody said, I saw that he received a $1.5 million PPP loan. I don't know if that's true. It'll be interesting to look into. We can look into it for sure. Christopher D. Will Erika's motion delay the selling of the house or simply complicate the dividing of the money earned from the sale? It shouldn't delay the sale because it's going to get sold. It's how the money gets divided up afterwards and deciding how it gets divided up afterwards. But it shouldn't delay the sale because it's going to get sold at all. And it did say he didn't have any farm animals. Well, he might not own any, but why the vet bill then? Do racehorses count as farm animals? I don't know. These are things I don't know. These are rich people problems on a level I don't know. Those financials, I thought it was off. I thought I was off work today since CHP 13s came across my desk every day. Oh, very cool. Good to see you, Melissa K. Question, after seeing his income, so is this how rich people avoid paying taxes? Yes, this is part of how rich people don't, well, I can't say avoid paying taxes. This is part of how people strategize their taxes. So when you look at the different types of income, those different types of income are taxed at different rates. So W-2 income has a tax rate, dividends have a tax rate, capital gains have a tax rate. Those things are taxed at different rates. So a lot of people will strategize where their income's coming in from to keep their overall tax liability low. So yes, this is how people strategize their taxes. They do pay some, but they strategically plan what they pay and how they pay. So, Little Red Star said, this makes me feel ill. If all of these banks and companies have to write the money off, they're going to pass it through. I mean, as with all businesses, it's like companies like Target. When I was still at the DA's office, Target had just reached like over $1 billion for the year in shrinkage, which means stuff that's stolen or fraudulent purchases and stuff like that. It's wild to me how much loss some of these companies have. Snow White, hello, asked, question, what portion of this could be owed by the business partners? Should they owe to, were they named? So the business partners at the law firm, he's the 100% owner. Other business partners for those other businesses that they showed he was a part of, no, not necessarily. So, so there's that. The law firm is 100% owed by him. So these are his debts. So other business partners generally wouldn't be on the hook. Erika can be on the hook. Do you think Erika Jayne will plea in the debt case? I mean, that really won't come up in a plea way. There will be settlements and agreements. She can say she didn't know this was going on, but it doesn't make her not financially on the hook with regards to the marital property, which is why she's trying to take those exemptions, I believe, because the rest of this is the marital property that's all going to be sold to cover these debts. And some of them are marital debts. This is a great question. Miss Hinky, what is W-2 income? W-2 income in the US is a paycheck. So when you get paid by your employer, different amounts of money come out, things that go to the state government, things that go to the local government, federal government, all those taxes come out. So it is the category of income that you get in a paycheck if you have a job with your employer and your employer issues you a paycheck versus like 1099 or dividend and other things. Are back taxes a priority payment to be paid before other debts? Kimberly, yes, they showed in there the priority amount, and then they showed the non-priority amount. So they broke out how much was a priority and how much wasn't a priority in that. The conservatorship in this case you mentioned earlier, could that case, its outcome, have any bearing on Brittany's? No, I don't think so, unless the laws change because of Brittany's case. So yeah, not unless there's a change in law. The reason I relate them together is by way of example, and a lot of the things I say are by way of example, so that we can break down kind of the more complex legal concepts into, law nerd speak. So we can talk about the real shit without getting caught in like all the legal phrases, because that's what we do. We break it down. We turn like legal into curse words with some coffee. Kid SWAT said these are incomplete records. Yes. If he doesn't comply, will they never be able to find the money? He is not going to comply because of the conservatorship. This is the bankruptcy trustee getting to go out and track it all down. What will they find? I don't know, but they are going to be tracking down everything that they can. That is part of what they're going to get paid for. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. TLES, I have a new hairstylist here in Tennessee, and I blow dry my own hair with that Revlon One hair dryer thing that I love so much. It's on my Amazon page. That Revlon hair dryer is literally my jam because I've got a good haircut and no skill. So, but I will tag my hairdresser on Instagram. He's great. But I also don't like blasting it on my live because I don't want people to know where I'm going to be in the real world sometimes because, like death threats and stuff from that, from covering the KJ case. If Girardi is found guilty of something criminal, could the state bar be found liable for neglecting to act on complaints? I don't think the two are correlated. I also, at this point, depending on what happens with the conservatorship, criminal becomes a little bit more difficult. The question remains, could individuals sue the state bar saying the state bar should have taken disciplinary action? I am not clear on how that would go down. The state bar is a wing of the court. Ugh. I think it would be hard. That doesn't mean it's forestalled, but I still don't have a good answer for myself on whether individuals could sue the state bar for failing to take action. I just don't know yet. I don't know. Question, maybe lame. Never apologize for questions, turbo bitch. Don't apologize. Just ask the questions. It's fine. He claimed not having any livestock to racing horses count. I see, again, it might just be that the trustee doesn't know yet because this is filed by the trustee. So the trustee might just not be aware, and the vet bill should probably tip them off to go look for it. See, there we go. Cheryl, thank you. Found it. He has interest in 3 horses according to Equibase. I wonder if that's what one of those companies is his interest in the horses. Thanks, Cheryl. Law nerds are the best. That's fantastic. All right. Question, could Boeing's insurance company or maybe the law firm's insurance company, assuming that he has an active insurance policy, be made to reimburse the victims? Not Boeing, because Boeing paid. He is alleged to have taken it. So not Boeing. I believe, according to the LA Times article, that Tom Girardi was uninsured. So no, maybe not. Question, does suing somebody cost money? Yes. Like, what's the point of suing for a couple of bucks like the exterminators? I don't think the exterminators sued. I think the exterminators are a debt owed. I don't think there was a lawsuit on that. But yes, suing people does cost money. Less money if it's in small claims court. I think that those weren't all lawsuits that were listed. Some of those are just debts owed that they found through doing credit checks and things like that. Thank you, JPMCB equals JP Morgan Chase Bank. Appreciate it. Question, was there anywhere in the documents that listed if companies or people who owe him money? There was, and it was listed as his law firm that owed him money a lot because he lent 50 million plus to his law firm. Saying put it on my bill and never paying his bill. TLES, it sounds like that a lot. Christopher D said, who is the first lien holder on the Pasadena estate? Is there a possibility that he is the lien holder through an LLC? I don't know who the first lien holder is. I have not pulled up the estate records and the liens on the estate because it'll come out in the bankruptcy eventually. So I don't know who the first lien holder is on the estate. Could it be through one of the companies? I mean, it's possible, but I don't know the answer to that. We buy homes in bankruptcy. You'd be shocked the creditors that come out. Classy Mom, I don't think we'd be shocked. We're starting to see it, and this is just the tip of the iceberg for sure. Question, was he a contingency attorney? Ambezi 33. Yes, he was a contingency attorney, and it seemed like he did most of his work on contingency, which is why he owes so much money to all those attorney lending companies, because they were funding him, and then they were supposed to get, like, they would fund it up front. He would do all the work, put, the millions of dollars or whatever into working up the cases. The cases would settle, and then it's supposed to go to, the attorney takes their attorney fees, the attorney takes their expenses, and then the rest goes to the client. But out of that, the expenses is supposed to pay back the loan. It looks like that wasn't happening. Well, Leslie Buford, that's amazing information. And isn't it ironic that one of the horses is named Champion of Justice? Can we collectively just go, bleh? Like, just knowing what we know now? Bleh. That makes me mad. Special gift to myself was becoming a law nerd tonight. Hello, Sherry. I hope you can see your gavel on your end. I'm so bummed that in StreamYard, and I love StreamYard, but I don't get to see the fun gavels and emojis. It's one of the things I'm like, I want to see our custom things. So we only get the standard one when I pull it up on the screen. But welcome to being a law nerd. And again, you guys, if you're new, go ahead and subscribe. We're at 92.4 thousand subs. It's amazing. And we've got over almost 3,000 people here on Friday night. Absolutely pay your people. And look, pay your fucking gardener. Like, what the fuck, man? Pay the electrical, like, come on. But now they're all in bankruptcy. So you guys have great information. Thank you, Kate Go. Ocala Equine Hospital is reputable in Florida. They're pretty well known in the horse world. There are a lot of racehorses in Ocala area, so they treat mostly racehorses. I love this. Contingency attorney. Okay, fantastic. Oh, I answered that. We did that. Yes, we covered it. Question, have you heard the speculation regarding Tom being affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein? Since Epstein was brought down, that line of criminal income stopped. I had not heard that. I had my own conspiracy speculation about what happened with all of this. I've talked about it in other cases. My conspiracy speculation was essentially that at some point this tipped and he was using new settlements to cover old settlements. Like, he was just using the new money to cover the bad. I don't know what the event was that caused this to crumble. I don't know if we'll ever know. Like, what was the first event where he couldn't cover and had to pull from future settlements to cover back debts? I don't know where that tipping point was or how far back that goes, but it's clear that he was using the stuff coming in and just kind of like, hey, I'm going to get this settlement. I'll pay you over here. And it was just constantly this shell game, almost like Ponzi scheme structure of things where you're taking in the new money to cover the older money and constantly moving it around and going, I've got this next thing coming in. Like, I've got this next job. I've got this next job. And I think that the slowdown in COVID kind of hurt some of that because things weren't settling, things weren't incentivized to settle, things weren't going to trial. So there's no like worry about pending trial. So I think it slowed down the money coming in and everything started to catch up. And then that judge in Illinois was like, oh, fuck no, this is not what we're doing. This is not what we're doing. We're freezing your assets. What is happening? So I had not heard that speculation. I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we've got to go to court of public opinion. BG Sands, I haven't decided yet. I can waive in. There's a bunch of paperwork, but I can do paperwork and become licensed in Tennessee. I don't know if I need to. I haven't decided yet. So would you ever want to be a judge? No. Sure don't. Was definitely asked about that a lot as I was leaving the DA's office because a lot of DAs do transition onto the bench. I have a lot of friends that have transitioned onto the bench, friends that intend to run for the bench. Nope. I have definitely built another life for myself that I absolutely love. And I talk about that a bit in my TED Talk. Question, do you think you could pass the bar exam in another state? Yes, but I've practiced long enough that I don't have to because Tennessee has comedy. So you can paperwork it through. I don't know if it's necessary. What's your opinion on how the alleged robbery will play into this since many assets were listed as unknown? So I imagine that they will try to get footage if they can from Bravo so they can start to see what was in the house and start to get together a list and have that put down and have some monetary figures put around that. I think they will definitely use footage from housewives from inside of the house to try to figure out what was in the house as best they can. So, Thank you so much, Carrie. The TED Talk was so obvious, awesome, and really eye-opening, literally life-changing. Thank you so much. The TED Talk is really a very vulnerable talk for me, but also real talk on how I made the decisions to shift and change the way I live my life. Speaking of your TED Talk, I trolled the comments. LOL, Pennyroyal is technically good law, just mostly irrelevant. Thank you for trolling the comments of the TED Talk. Question, who disbars the bar? Yeah, nobody really. They're an arm of the Supreme Court of California. Question, can things said or actions seen on Housewives be used against them? It really, God, so much of this just depends. I think it can come, it's going to come up with regard particularly to the filming of the house and the inside of the house and the inside of the closet and the assets. I think it will be a touch point there. But also, the housewives are not under oath. So her saying, oh, this is my, I spent $40,000 on glam. It could be a lie. Like, that could be bullshit. There doesn't necessarily have to be truth to the fluffery that might happen in your life on a show like that. So I think some can, but not everything. Okay. I'm going to keep going real quick and take 2 more questions, and we're getting to court of public opinion because we're going to get to public opinion. Oh, what does the D stand for? Disney. No, I'm teasing. Dongle. Dongle. Emily Dongle Baker. It depends on the day what the D stands for. So I feel like Tom will say all the furnishings and jewels from the show were stolen recently. Those poor victims' thoughts. I don't know. We don't have a lot of facts with regard to this alleged robbery that we've seen reported. So we don't know what's in the house. We don't know who had access to the house and when to kind of tag what they had or what they knew. So, and also it depends on what Erika tells them and what she knew. So I don't know. I don't want this to be any shadier. I don't want the robbery to be staged. I've seen allegations of that, like the robbery stage and they're moving assets. Like, I really fucking hope that's not true. Like the clients in this who haven't gotten paid, even the other attorneys that have done work with this firm and haven't gotten paid have been through enough. Like, it's enough. So I hope that there's no bullshit in that. I hope that there's no bullshit in that. Yes, Emily Danger Baker, Emily Dongle Baker, sometimes Emily Dammit Baker. Could the $50 million owed be his salary since he claims he only made $6K? It absolutely could be, but the way it was written in there said loan. So it said loan. Yeah, it said loan. So that's what I'm going with. Okay. So last question, Little Red Star is going to be our last question, and we're moving on to court of public opinion. And tonight's a special one. Does whatever swag Erika received count as goods that can be sold during the bankruptcy? I hate that tonight my answers are all, it depends. I think a lot of that will go to her or through her company. So it just depends on how that breaks down with work shit. And if if it's work stuff that she gets through her company as Erika Jayne, then it might not be community assets. So it just depends, and it depends on the value of it and what it is. I mean, I don't think they're going to resell like her Fenty that she's, dressed in on Instagram. So it also depends on how much of that's her company assets, because again, she's on television. So did she buy the Cartier Jaguar ring through her business? Is that a business expense because she's wearing it on TV and it's part of her persona? We don't know. First year law school. My phone is set to 2 times. Love this. Love that you're a first year law student. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. I said last question, and then I'm doing last question. Have we seen bank account from the law firm yet? I addressed this early on, Anastasia, and I've been talking for a long time. The trustee in the business side of this said they need like 6 months. So 6 months is what they said. 6 months. to compile the financial records. So we haven't seen the financial records on that yet. Okay. We have to get to court of public opinion. We have to. The mods were letting me know Tipster was here. Hello, Tipster. I think this was probably ages ago because I've been talking for so long. Congratulations on 100,000, man. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited for you. We have got to get to court of public opinion. It's a special one tonight. Yes, the D might be for dissent. The D might be for it depends. The D is sometimes for Disney. The D is sometimes just because she needs the D. But court of public opinion, tonight is special. Here's why tonight is special. Because I don't have the options for the poll yet. I need y'all to help me come up with the options that we're going to put in the poll. Because I feel like tonight's court of public opinion might be one of the most important that we cover. And I feel like we need to solve this problem for the internet because this is a problem that causes problems. This is difficult in families. This is hard in marriages. This can cause workplaces to fall out. This is something that bugs the ever-loving shit out of me. What is the moratorium on spoilers? How long is it that you have to wait to talk about something? And when we talk about spoilers, we're only talking because COVID about things that you stream or watch at home. We're not talking about things that you have to go to movie theaters because I think the moratorium on spoilers for movie theaters is longer than it is at home. Is it 24 hours? Is it 3 days? Is it a week? Like, how long is it a spoiler? Because are you really a fan if you have not watched it within 48 hours? Like, why do I have to wait a week to talk about The Mandalorian? So is it a week? Is it 24 hours? Is it 72 hours? Is it 6 months? Brock, by 6 months, we've all forgotten. 5 years, nope. I veto 5 years right now. By 5 years, I don't even know. I can't even talk about 5 years. At least 2 weeks, Amber. 2 weeks is a lot. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 days, 72 hours. Okay, we're going to need some categories. We're going to need a 24-hour category. We're going to need a week. We need a week as a category. We need more than a week. 2 weeks, greater than a week as a category. 10 days. So that would be greater than a week. Those might be our categories. Preface the spoiler. So you have to still, but after a week, do you really have to preface the spoiler? That's another part of this question. At what point do you stop saying spoiler? When do you stop? Warning, spoiler. Like, I think, do you still stay spoiler after a week? I can't talk about Breaking Bad with my daughter because they plan to watch, but don't want to be spoiled. And that's fair too. A week. You just need to give a good warning. Most MCU fans give good spoiler warnings. MCU fans do give good spoiler warnings. Right now, you should have watched it, read it, or whatever. LOL. See, and it's hard. Like, do you have to stay off the internet? Because sometimes for 24 hours, I stay off the internet for 24 hours. If I really haven't watched something and want to watch it, I just stay off the internet because I don't expect anyone to take me into consideration. So it's like 48 hours. The following week, because pop culture happens really fast. There are too many shows and I'm way too behind on pop culture. I need time to catch up. Okay, it's Brock, it's fair. It depends on the media. A very general rule is 3 weeks, but it can drop to 1 week or less for things like show episodes. Here's the thing though. Like, why doesn't this also apply to sports? Like, Why doesn't this also apply to sports? Like, it's not a spoiler if you talk about the game. Like, for streaming at home, because we're just talking about streaming at home. Because, like, when we're talking about the movie and shit, you can't. We're not talking about awards shows because it seems like specifically timely. But with sports, nobody's like, spoiler alert, this is who won. Spoiler alert, this is who won. But with, like, at what point can we just be like, tell Cersei it was me and I'm not giving you a spoiler alert? Everybody died. Okay, 24 to 48 hours with spoiler alert. So I think I'm going to frame the question in the poll. How long after can you talk about it? Or how long after do you not have to give a spoiler alert? I think is what's fair. Like, how long do you go without giving an alert? Because the spoiler alert is the fair thing. But at what point do you stop with the spoiler alert? Like, for episodes, I feel like it has to be by the time the next episode comes out, right? But where do we stop saying spoiler alert? I think that's the question. When do you have to stop saying it's a spoiler? That's what it is. That's what it is. If you watch an enjoyable program, you should be able to talk about it when you are most enthusiastic. I agree with you. Diva Views woke up and chose violence. Spoiler. Danica, hello. I think for sports, it's because you is or you ain't. With shows, you need context discussion about it. That's a very fair point. 36 hours, always give an alert. I need a spoiler since I watched that one movie with that dude from the Fight Club being a Nazi. Wish somebody would have told me. That's fair enough. And I love that it's that one dude with the movie from Fight Club being a Nazi. Are we talking about Brad Pitt? Because I feel like we are. 38 hours, always give an alert. So this is what the question is going to be tonight. Like, when do you stop saying spoiler alert? Is it where do you stop saying it's a spoiler? Because some people don't ask, like, oh, do you intend to watch this later? But I feel like the world has changed on this because some people haven't watched Game of Thrones yet and maybe want to. And they're like, come on, I haven't watched it yet. So I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. So I'm going to ask it and we'll see. We'll see when you stop giving a spoiler alert because it's fair. Because I think that's the real question. Ed Norton. Okay, that's fair. The other guy. The other guy from those movies. Thank you, Ed Norton. A week due to work and family. I mean, a week might be fair to not say spoiler, but it's also, do we always say spoiler now? I always say spoiler because someone has always yet to watch the thing I'm talking about. And it's streaming has changed it, right? Like when Emily talks about being old. When I was growing up, you either had to like literally record it on the VCR or watch it when it aired. So spoilers weren't a thing because if you missed it, if you missed Beverly Hills 90210, somebody had to tell you what happened because you're not going to get to see it. So the conversation and the group awareness was different because we were watching things all together at the same time. A, we had less options. B, there was no streaming. C, DVRs weren't easy. E, my parents were not letting me just like record shit on the VCR. So it was different. And now we all find things at different times because it's streaming. So we don't all get pushed into the same kind of funnel of when we're watching kind of pop culture happen, except with like, for us on the YouTube, except when YouTube shit goes down, like we've all seen it at this point and we're all like, okay, we know what's happening with David Dobrik. Like there's no spoilers. We see that James Charles is not going to be on his show Instant Influencer again. Like we know David Dobrik got, his channel got demonetized, though it looks temporary, but like those things we kind of talk about, but I'm very curious as to what it is. So I'm going to ask the question. That's what we're going to ask. We're going to ask after the coming weekend. Snow White says, oh my God, I remember LA Law. I used to watch it with a friend over the phone. That or we would talk together right after so we could scream the elevator shaft. I love that so much. It's the same with first came across spoilers, River Song and Doctor Who. Spoilers. The sign back there says, hello, sweetie. That's what's in that frame. But yes, spoilers. But spoilers have become kind of a part of our kind of a part of our world because we all find things at different times. What did I watch that I would watch on the phone with friends? Oh, Dawson's Creek. I watched Dawson's Creek on the phone with my friend Lindsay, or went over to her house every single week because I was home recovering from shoulder stuff from college. She was going through her lung transplant and stuff. So we would watch Dawson's Creek and just so, and I think that's, oh, wait, move along, Douglas. Scarlett's brain is on fire. This is an excellent point. YouTube stuff is more gossipy and we all want the tea. It's a different category. And I think that TV used to feel that way. And now YouTube feels that way. Like TV used to feel like, oh my God, this is what went down last night. Like YouTube feels like that for me, but TV, like Netflix and stuff, doesn't feel like, oh my God, because nobody's ever watching the same thing at the same time except for YouTube. When shit goes down on YouTube, everybody's watching it at the same time. But other than that, we're all not talking about the same thing at the same time. I used to watch Survivor and phone a friend during commercials. My husband and I walked out to the Survivor theme song at the reception for our wedding. Survivor was like our Thursday night date when we first started dating. So we would get together on Thursday and watch like Survivor and ER and all the things. So that was part of our like Thursday night together because we were both in school. So yes, lots. Oh my God, flashbacks to Dawson's Creek. I kind of want to go back and watch Dawson's Creek again. I don't even know if it's streaming, but it is. Yes, I did say your question. Everybody be cool. Everybody be cool. Everybody be cool. Oh my God, you guys, I've been talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I can't believe I've been talking for that long. Some of you guys are saying wait till the next episode. I love it. All right. We have talked forever. We need to know. I have questions. Except for Tiger King. Yeah, Tiger King you had to talk about immediately. There's very few things, that was early in the pandemic. There's very few things where we get all swooped up together and are all talking about the same thing. And it is something that I missed about things being simpler and there being less options for TV. And even with, Game of Thrones, it still felt like almost everybody was talking about the same thing at the same time. And it's just, yeah, I love us all being on the same page with stuff that was fun. I haven't gotten to watch WandaVision yet. I've been reading lawsuits. And then, kittens. So I fucking loved My So-Called Life, Cheryl. Here, quick story and then I'm leaving. I swear, mods, this is my last sign off. I promise it's my last sign off. You guys let me know how many likes we have and maybe we'll tell the end of this story as Lawyer Cat. I loved My So-Called Life. So when I moved away to go to college, one of the first things I did was convince my friend who had very, very blue eyes and very kind of porcelain fair skin to dye her hair jet black because it was fucking radiant and I wanted to be as emo as hell. Even though it wasn't called emo in 96, but still. I dyed my hair maroon and I was paler in college than I am now. I'm still pretty pale. Like your girl has no melanin. We are either pale or we are a lobster. That is what we've got. That's what we're working with. Very pale. And I had maroon hair in a blunt cut and a matching like 90s maroon lip. That was it. I freaking loved it. Not well thought through. Box dye plus chlorine. Not it. So being a water polo player, the box dye was not it. It wasn't at all. 1.1. We can do Lawyer Cat. We can do a little bit. Y'all, let's do some likes. We'll sign off as Lawyer Cat. I appreciate you. It was definitely more goth. It was 96 was goth, not emo. I had my moments, though. I still like TikTok knows me now and it only shows me like the lists of like the best songs from the early 2000s and the late 90s. I have a whole early 2000 playlist because I kind of miss emo 2000 music and I need it a lot. Emily, I thought about you and the Law Nerds watching late night when we were interviewing Ringo Starr and I couldn't stop laughing. Love this channel. Oh, when they were interviewing Ringo Starr. Yes. Thank you. And Ringo presented Was it at the Grammys? And I was like, Ringo. I saw H3 and H3 talking about Ringo and I died. Like I fell out laughing. I was like, Ringo. I need to pull that back up and see if there's been a ruling in that case. I'm fascinated about what's happened with Ringo. I want to know what has happened with Ringo. So that is what needs to happen. All right, y'all. It is late. Everybody, have you thanked the mods yet? Have you thanked the mods? Have you thanked the mods? Mods need to be thanked. The mods need to be thanked. All right. I'm going to say goodnight. It is time. Let's see if we can get Lawyer Cat to work for us. Maybe. Oh, this is a different one. I am not a cat. No, but okay. This is the wrong one. I am not a cat. This is very creepy, though. I don't think I like this one. I don't think I like this one at all. I have found the wrong cat filter. No, that's not it. Oh, God, that's fucking terrifying. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. Why are there so many options? Why are there so many options? Y'all, this is terrifying. I actually kind of like this one. No, I don't. This is terrifying. I don't know. This one's scary. You guys all have Tech Valor to blame for this because she's the one that showed me how to make this happen. And there are so many other options. Why are there so many options? I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know why I can't find the right cat one, but this is not the one I was looking for. Oh no, no. What is happening? This is not what we intended to happen. We were looking for Lawyer Cat. Something has gone wrong. I don't even know anymore. That's not okay. This is not all right. You guys, I don't know. The technology has taken over this evening. I will find my other Lawyer Cat filter. I am terrified. Thank you guys for the mods. Oh, Bubbly Dragon, it's been a long night. We've done all the things. This is terrifying. We will have more fun with the snap camera. We will find, I need to find my proper one. I miss it. I was looking for the Lawyer Cat one and hold on. Okay. I tried to find it. There's so many of them now. Why are there so many different Lawyer Cat ones? Okay, we're going to find the best Lawyer Cat one as a group. We're going to do this as a team effort, and then I'm going. As I've logged off 700 times. Why? I don't know. Okay, so that's not it. Oh, that's fucking terrifying. No, we hate that. Nope. Where? No! This one's scary too. What? This is just, no. No. Where's my one with the little body that we used to have? Did it? I don't know what that is. That says Lawyer Cat. That's not Lawyer Cat. That's not okay. I don't know what's happening with these snap filters. This one. No. Yikes. Okay, not that one. I don't know where the one I was using went. I thought I had favorited it. Apparently not. Stuff has gone wrong. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened to my favorite Lawyer Cat. I'm going to have to find it again and go from there. So that's what it is. There were some terrifying mistakes in these filters. Yeah, this is why we don't play with filters. This is why we just adult. Thank you guys for hanging with me this wonderful Friday night. We will have more fun with filters later. Diva's like, land this plane, girl. Land this plane. Land the plane. We will not be a cat. Everybody is trying to be Lawyer Cat, I think, for sure. You guys are the greatest. Thank you for spending your Friday nights with me. I appreciate it so much. We had a lot to cover tonight. It's weird stuff. I mean, the Girardi stuff is not... we need fluffy tea again. I miss tea. Like we bring the booch, but it's not enough to bring tea back because the Girardi stuff is just really, really deeply sad to me because of the amount of lives that are involved. The amount of people that have been harmed in this case hurts my heart. The amount of ongoing clients that are still having to scramble to have the right thing done for them hurts my heart. It's sad. And this whole Girardi case is sad. It's sad. So we need lighter, fluffier lawsuits. I'm going to have to go find them. We're going to have to go find some fluffy lawsuits. I mean, we might just have to talk about Sidney Powell and defamation just to lighten the mood. When we have to go to politics to lighten the mood because they filed a motion to dismiss saying, who would ever believe her anyway? I mean, that might lighten the mood. So you guys are the best. Thank you for hanging with me tonight. I'm going to go say goodnight to my kiddos. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget to do the YouTube things, the likey, subscribey things. And if you want to keep up with me over the weekends when I'm not here on YouTube, I'm everywhere on social media at the Emily D. Baker. I will see you on Tuesday for coffee and cursey words, unless shit pops off before then. But let's all cross our fingers and just have a nice weekend. And catch up with me on the socials because that's where I'll be this weekend. Bye. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, LawNerdsUnite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.